Hello. I know it has been a while. So the last month, Dad was recovering from pneumonia, and Mom had each of her eyes done with cataract surgery, and her vision is 20/20, and she is almost healed up. She still has one more checkup. So it's been like almost 2 weeks since the second eye was done. She's doing really well. And so I was trying to help out in my very small way, which, let's be honest, not very helpful. I can't run the sweeper. I can't dust because I can't reach up. I can't do that up movement above my head. I can't get down and like scrub bathtubs. So I'm so limited on physically what I could do to help them. But I did help with running errands, picking up groceries, making very simple meals, not the wonderful meals that my mom makes, but simple meals. So I made sure we were fed, and I did dishes every night. So that's what I did to help. It wasn't a huge amount, but because I have such a limited amount of energy in a day, then I didn't have the energy for doing my lives or doing my sales, and I definitely wouldn't have had the energy for packing up and shipping out things after my sales. So I, didn't plan to take a break for the last month from all of that, but I did. So also got some life changes going on. So my stress is like through the roof, and stress makes everything worse. So when I moved in here, August of last year, the plan was for me my mom was going to help me with eating right, and getting my health back on track and losing weight. And Dad was going to just be a financial cushion as I built my business and got back on my feet. Well, as we all know, in the last year, I've gotten worse. I did lose weight. I did do Whole30 for 6 weeks. I did do paleo. I am gluten-free. I was sugar-free for a good portion of the year, and I just got sicker and sicker. And as I got sicker, it meant that I could do less with trying to build the business, which meant that financially I was even in rougher shape than when I started. And the deal was, when I moved in here, was that as long as my niece was living here, my sister's youngest daughter, the sister that passed away, her daughter was going into her senior year of high school when I moved in here, and then she's in nursing school now. So as long as she was in school, they were not going to sell the house and downsize. They wanted her to have stability until she decided to move out. So I knew I had at least a year to live here before they would put the house up for sale. And then she had talked about she'd gone back and forth about whether or not to stay here in her first year of nursing school or what. So, going through her senior year, I at least knew that I was going to be able to stay here through her senior year. And then it looked like as we got closer to her graduation in May, that she might stay here and go to nursing school and live here. And that didn't happen. She very, very happily married her sweetheart, and she moved in with him to his parents' basement that has been turned into an apartment for them, and they are saving to buy a house. So then the decision became, how soon do Mom and Dad put the house up for sale and move into some type of retirement community, which has always been their plan. And I hate that the last year I've had to depend on them because they're on a fixed income. And so I feel like I failed. Quite honestly, I have failed. I have failed to get my health back on track. I have failed to build a business that will support me. I have failed to pay off most of the overwhelming bills that I have from not being able to support myself in the 2 years before I moved in here. I have failed to make my health any better. So That is where we're at right now. Big fat failure. And when the house sells, I have to find someplace else to live. And I don't know how to do that at this point. There's no one else in my family that is financially in a place or has the space that I could go stay with. I don't know. So that is stress on top of stress. And we're going into winter now where with my fibromyalgia, I feel even worse because the temperature drops, my pain levels skyrocket. So struggling with that. So my plan for this month, for the month of November, is to sell off as much as possible. We will be emptying my storage unit into the garage now that my niece no longer has to park there. And I will be going through it and probably putting a lot more items up for sale. But in order to do that, I have to have the energy to do that. And it's this catch-22 where I'm too sick to get back on my feet. But because I can't get back on my feet, I have extra stress about money, which makes me sicker. Because stress makes chronic illness worse. It just does. It's a fact. So that is where I'm at in my life. So this month we've got a realtor coming to do a walkthrough in the house next Wednesday. Or this Wednesday, I forget it's Sunday. This is Sunday when I am filming this. So realtor's coming Wednesday, do a walkthrough, kind of give them an idea of what the asking price for the house would be. If there are things that they need to repair in order to pass a home inspection, that kind of stuff. So we've got that going on. And, I am starting the cleanse that I was supposed to do months ago, but because things kept happening, it kept getting put off. And Mom and Dad had purchased this for me, and so I absolutely do not want the money to go to waste. So it's a 4-part. So this is the gut cleanse and liver support. This one is the 15-day cleanse, para-free detox. That's if I've got any parasites going on. And then chemical and drug-free detoxifier. So, like this one has things like golden seal, burdock root, red clover flower, yellow dock root, beetroot, bentonite clay, milk thistle seed. So, these are really pure supplements. So, gonna do a little cleanse. I'm gonna start that tomorrow. A lot of times cleanses make me feel worse, but I am not going to let their investment go to waste because these were not cheap and Mom and Dad bought them for me and gifted them to me. So going to do the cleanse. I also start with a new counselor tomorrow. The counselor that I was seeing, I really liked her, but she was through my doctor's office, and it's an interim program where you can see that one. You can be in that for 8 weeks while you're waiting to get into a regular therapist because of the wait time for mental health services, because we all lost our minds in 2020, apparently. So I'm starting with her tomorrow. And she was recommended by the interim therapist that I was seeing for those 8 weeks. And she thought we'd be a good fit. So we will see. I did fail the Effexor. I don't even have the list of side effects in front of me, but it was terrible. And so yet again, got more meds that just don't work for me, that make me sicker, that make me less able to function when I'm not even able to function yet. So, yeah. I also have started the application for disability. I didn't want to do it. I hate that. It makes me feel like a failure. I supported my kids their whole childhood by myself. And now I can't support myself when I was supposed to finally have a little bit of ability to do that after I raised my children and got them out on their own. So frustrating. And, that process can take years. You're almost always denied on your first time. I've only ever heard of one person who wasn't denied on their first go round of it. I don't want to have to hire an attorney to fight for it, because then they get a portion of any back payment. Like, it's just a whole stressor when it's something I don't even want to do. But at this point, I have no way to support myself. I am not functioning. Physically, I am just in so much pain. I have limited range of motion. I am nauseous and dizzy, and the brain fog is incredible. So I can't make decisions. I can't think through a process of doing something. I have no idea. I'm a fall risk. My hip and my knee give out on me on the left side. And did I mention the constant pain? The constant, never-ending pain in every part of my body? Yeah. So I've got all of that going on. There's just no good news. I'm sorry. It's depressing, actually. It's quite depressing. That's what's happening. Wanted to give you guys an update, let you know. I think that was everything. So, this month I had added some sugar in just because things were stressful, and I was just trying to put a little dopamine into my life with sugar, which I quite enjoy. So I will be cutting almost all of that out. And I've already been working on, drinking my large amount of water. I'm doing well at that, especially since it got cold and it dried out. So I'm going to continue with that. So I'm just going to keep doing what I was doing, although it hasn't been helping. I just feel bad that my parents have sacrificed to let me move in here and support me financially and support my health and, do everything they could to help me get back on my feet, and it hasn't worked. So that's where I'm at. That's what's happening. And to add, more stress, I obviously have not been able to then get my new glasses because I was diagnosed with the binocular vision dysfunction. So I have no idea if adding that to my lenses is going to help at all, because that might help with the headaches. That might help with I just go through a lot of, my eyes hurt all the time. It's hard to drive. My depth perception's terrible. I walk into doors and walls, and so then I'm covered in bruises, and I don't know how much of that is the binocular vision dysfunction and how much of that is the fibromyalgia, because it could be one, it could be the other, it could be both. So I don't know if getting the new glasses may help with some of that. That would be great, especially with the headaches. It's like eye aches, just constant. My eyes just hurt all the time. But obviously, I've been able to afford to do that. And now my phone's broken. So I can do everything on my phone except make a phone call or send a text or receive a phone call or receive a text. So the phone part of my phone no longer works. Camera works. I can do things on the Wi-Fi. I can read, I can play games, I can play music, I can surf the internet. I can't make a phone call. So there's that. That's fun. So first thing tomorrow, I'm going to have to go over to Verizon and see what is going on with my phone, but I can't afford a new phone. So stress on stress on stress. And knowing that I have to move again, I knew that this was temporary. I knew when I moved in here that I am so grateful that my parents allowed me to land here. Now it's been more than a year. I knew it was guaranteed for at least a year I'd be able to stay here. So I've been here a little bit longer than I even originally planned to be. But Mom and I sat down and we counted how many times I have moved since I was born. I'm 50 years old and I have moved 41 times. 41 times. We moved quite a bit when I was a child. In my early 20s, a roommate wouldn't work out, or like I had one apartment I absolutely loved, and I rented the top half, and there was a elderly German man who was living below me. He was completely deaf, so it didn't matter how much noise I made above him. He never heard it. And lovely little, just a little apartment. And I just loved living there. And he fell down I think it was the front steps were icy, and he fell when he was trying to either shovel or salt them, and went into a nursing home, and his family decided to put him into a nursing home for the rest of his life, not just for recovery. And I was told I had to leave. So things like that, like it wasn't that I was choosing to move a lot of these times. It was that I had to. The kids and I had a house we loved. It was little, all one level, no storage because it was on a slab, but 3-bedroom, and we just loved living there. It was within walking distance of their school. It was within walking distance of my work. The rent was not too high. There were some problems. Landlord didn't want to fix things, and there were a few issues, but for the most part, we loved living there. When the lease was up, we went to a month-to-month, and then the landlady wanted to move her mom in there who was having vision problems, and we had to leave. We were given 30-day notice. So a lot of these moves we've made have not been because we wanted to move or because I wanted to move. It's just circumstance. And so the feelings that come up in knowing I have to move again, even though I knew, logically I knew, but feeling wise, having to move again, big stress, big stress. So very stressed about that. Although I have to say that moving back in here and getting to know my parents all over again at this point in our lives has been so much fun and eye-opening, because the last time I lived here, my kids were toddlers, and I was a busy single mom with 3 kids who was going to school full-time, and they were both working full-time. They had not retired yet, and we were ships passing in the night. Like, there wasn't a lot of even seeing each other. And they did not, because they had full-time jobs, they did not even babysit my kids. My kids went to a Type B home care provider who, Mrs. Marable, she was like another grandmother to them. And she was allowed to have 6 children in her home. It's something Ohio does where you don't have to be certified to be a actual daycare. They call it a Type B daycare provider, I think is what they call it, but it's not actual daycare. Anyway, she was wonderful. The whole 2 years I was in college, she was consistent with the kids. They loved her. It worked out great. But, not a lot of time spent with my parents between everybody's busy lives back then. So, it's been interesting spending so much time with them the last year, and fun, and we've had some good times. So, yeah, got to be moving on now. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry, it's probably been a month, I think, since my last health update, although there's not much health to update on. We'll see how this detox kind of thing goes. Some of these are only 2 weeks. So the 15-day cleanse, and I think, I'm trying to remember which, I think this one is only 15 days. So 2 of these are only 15 days I have to get through. I'll put it that, but lots to do. And the holidays are coming up. Yay! All right, you guys. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later.